Have you ever spent hours decluttering your home, only to find the clutter creeping back in? You're not alone. Studies show that the average American household contains about 300,000 items. That's a lot of stuff. And research reveals that people typically use only 20% of what they own regularly. So, what happens to the other 80%? It just sits there, taking up space and mental energy. Here's a shocking fact. 60% of people who declutter their homes end up refilling the space within a year. This cycle can leave you feeling frustrated and defeated. If you think decluttering will fix your life, you might be in for a surprise. In this video, we'll explore the real reasons why decluttering often fails and how to break the cycle. We'll dive into the myths of minimalism, the hidden costs of owning less, and the mindset shifts needed to truly simplify your life. Ready to rethink everything you know about decluttering? Let's get started. Your journey to a more meaningful and intentional life begins now. Chapter 1. The Decluttering Trap. Why tidying up isn't enough. Decluttering can feel like a big achievement. You organize your space, throw out things you don't need, and breathe a sigh of relief. But soon enough, the clutter sneaks back. Sound familiar? That's because decluttering is often just a surface-level solution. It doesn't fix the root cause, our habits and mindset. According to a study by the UCLA Center on Everyday Lives of Families, people in the US have more possessions per household than any society in history. We're swimming in stuff, and decluttering doesn't stop us from buying more. It's a temporary band-aid. The real issue isn't the clutter itself, it's why we keep accumulating it. Most people declutter without addressing the emotional or psychological reasons behind their attachment to stuff. Marie Kondo's popular method encourages us to ask, does it spark joy? But the deeper question is, why did we think it would spark joy in the first place? Often, it's because we believe things will fill some emotional void. Spoiler: they won't. Here's a strategy shift. Instead of just decluttering, focus on what comes next. How can you stop the cycle of recluttering? You need to adopt what's called conscious consumption. Every time you buy something, ask yourself, will this serve me in 6 months? Will it help me achieve my goals, or will it just sit there? One unique fact is that the average American home contains about 300,000 items, from paper clips to couches. Now, think about this. Do we really need all of them? Studies show that people tend to use only about 20% of what they own regularly. Decluttering without changing your buying habits is like trying to drain a sinking boat with a cup. You might empty it for a while, but more water, stuff, is always coming in. Instead of constantly decluttering, try curating your space. Keep only the items that align with your lifestyle and values. Once you master that, you'll notice that your space stays organized on its own. Chapter 2. The Hidden Costs of Minimalism. What you're really sacrificing. Decluttering often comes with a hidden cost. We get rid of things, thinking we're simplifying our lives, but sometimes we're also tossing out meaning. The minimalist movement, with its clean lines and empty countertops, can look beautiful, but is it always worth it? Research shows that having personal items around can actually boost your mood and sense of belonging. In a 2014 study, people who surrounded themselves with sentimental objects reported higher levels of happiness. Yet, minimalism often encourages us to strip away anything unnecessary. But what does unnecessary even mean? Take family heirlooms, for instance. A minimalist mindset might tell you to ditch your grandmother's china because you never use it. But there's value in keeping things that connect us to our past. Studies show that emotional attachment to objects can help reinforce a sense of identity and continuity in life. The point isn't to clutter your space with mementos, but to be selective about what you keep. A minimalist home shouldn't feel like a showroom. It should feel like your home. One strategy is to rotate sentimental objects, display a few for a season, then swap them out. This way, you can keep your space clean while still honoring your memories. Here's another hidden cost: the pressure to be the perfect minimalist. If you're constantly chasing that Instagram-worthy, bare-bones aesthetic, you might be sacrificing comfort for appearance. Minimalism isn't about owning the fewest things, it's about owning the right things. Minimalism is not a lack of something. It's simply the perfect amount of something, said Nicholas Burrows, a writer on simplicity. And he's right. Don't confuse minimalism with deprivation. If you're getting rid of things that serve a purpose or bring you joy, you're missing the point. Chapter 3. Why decluttering won't fix your life. Let's get one thing straight. Decluttering won't magically fix your life. It can help, sure, but it's not a solution to deeper issues. Many people turn to minimalism or decluttering as a way to regain control over their lives. But if you're not careful, it can become just another distraction from what really matters. Did you know that over 60% of people who declutter their homes end up filling the space again within a year? That's because decluttering isn't about the stuff, it's about the habits and mindsets that lead us to accumulate it in the first place. You might declutter to feel like you're making progress, but if you don't tackle the root causes, like stress, emotional spending, or procrastination, the clutter will come back. Decluttering can give you a false sense of achievement, tricking you into thinking you've solved bigger problems. A 2019 study published in the journal Personality and Social Psychology Review found that people with a scarcity mindset tend to hold on to things because they fear not having enough in the future. This can lead to both physical and mental clutter. So, if you want to truly simplify your life, you have to work on shifting this mindset. Here's a strategy. Instead of focusing on what to get rid of, focus on what to keep and why. This is called intentional ownership. Every item should have a clear purpose in your life, whether it's functional or emotional. When you focus on what adds value, the rest naturally falls away. Another helpful tip is to set non-negotiables for your space. These are things you absolutely need to function well or feel good in your environment. For example, if having books around makes you feel at home, don't force yourself to get rid of them just to follow some minimalist rule. Decluttering should be seen as a step toward a more purposeful life, not an end goal. It's about finding balance, not perfection. As author Joshua Becker of The More of Less puts it, minimalism isn't about removing things you love. It's about removing the things that distract you from the things you love. Keep this in mind as you work through your space and, more importantly, your habits. If you're enjoying these insights, make sure to subscribe for more content on living a meaningful and intentional life. Chapter 4. Escaping the perfect minimalist myth. There's a dangerous trap in the minimalist lifestyle, and it's called the perfect minimalist myth. Many people assume that to embrace minimalism, you need to live in a stark white home, with nothing on the counters and maybe 3 pieces of clothing in your closet. It's not true. Minimalism isn't one size fits all. It's personal. Joshua Fields Milburn, one of the creators of the Minimalists, said, "Minimalism is about intention, not deprivation." You don't need to strip your life down to the bare bones to be a minimalist. In fact, trying to be the perfect minimalist often leads to stress. You might end up feeling like you're never doing enough or that your space isn't minimal enough. This pressure defeats the purpose of minimalism, which is supposed to make life simpler and more meaningful. Here's a strategy. Redefine what minimalism looks like for you. Maybe it's owning fewer things, but still keeping what makes you happy. Or maybe it's about focusing on digital decluttering instead of physical stuff. You can be a minimalist and still own things that bring you joy or make your life easier. In a 2018 study by Princeton University, researchers found that physical clutter can negatively impact our ability to focus and process information. But remember, decluttering isn't about having the least amount of stuff, it's about eliminating distractions. Your version of minimalism should remove the clutter that disrupts your life, not the things that make it better. It's also okay for your minimalist journey to evolve. Maybe you start with decluttering your wardrobe, but later, you focus on simplifying your schedule. The key is flexibility. Minimalism is about finding freedom, not fitting into a mold. So, let go of the perfect minimalist myth and embrace the minimalist lifestyle that works for you. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on living a meaningful and intentional life.